Welcome back. Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys doing awesome, taking care of yourselves. We're doing a little rocking and rolling today. Hopefully you guys are doing the same and enjoying yourselves. So, got a good one. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent as always and having a great weekend. Now, this story has to do with a bizarre creature, possibly one of the Thunderbirds, and no, not some, airplane piloted type aircraft. No. We're talking about like prehistoric, telepathic. Working for the government, alien type of birds we're talking about, and some black helicopters. So this story comes to us from phantomsandmonsters.com, and we're going to get right on into it, man. We're not going to waste any time. So this story happened, I believe, up in New York, actually reported in Walworth, New York, and it's reported by a woman who states that she observed an unmarked black helicopter using a searchlight, actually, which is what we hear a lot about, in a field opposite from where she was jogging. An unidentified screeching sound was heard, and I started to record. So this is really cool. It's got a couple great elements of ufology. It's got these unmarked black helicopters, which could be linked to a variety of different entities within the government. It could be CIA, Dark Fleet, which they protect their own fleet and they're looking for an alien that had escaped. Maybe they're looking for a person that escaped. I mean, if you've seen the show The Boys, they probably have some hybrids or some other entities that work for them that are super powered, super abled, and maybe somebody escaped and they're looking for him. But it blows my mind that this stuff happens up in New York. I just can't believe that they would keep aliens up there or keep any entity up there. Usually they're going to keep it in the Southwest, right? They're going to keep it away from people. They're going to keep it down, protected, but not this time. And what ends up happening is sometimes these bases on the East Coast, they will have some bases that are deep underground military bases, some DUMBs, because these entities don't necessarily follow our states and our country borders, and sometimes they just pop up wherever they pop up. So they have to have some deep underground military bases close where they can hide these craft and hide these people and entities and aliens. So let's see what she has to say. She states that I wanted to share this story with you because I would really like to see if it can be identified. Last Sunday evening, I was at our school track jogging with my daughter, jogging while her daughter was at cheerleading practice in the gym. So this lady's jogging outside of the school, and her daughter's inside practicing cheerleading. Great use of time. It's hard using good time as a parent. And she states that her community is very rural. I love saying that word, but it's so hard to say, rural. So the track is at the back of the school complex, and it's surrounded by woods and fields, thus very dark at night. I was listening to a podcast through my earbuds while jogging. That's what I do. And she says that she happened to notice a low-flying, unmarked black helicopter in the back field, traveling along Eddy Road. Now, these black helicopters, like I was referring to earlier, they don't have to be CIA. They can be DIA. They have their own dark fleet. They could be some sort of other faction within the government. They could even be, some other, something else that we can't even think of. And what I mean by that is we have so many beings that can be shapeshifters, like I'm going to do in the next podcast, that they could be just pretending to be black helicopters, like Project Blue Book, for example. They could just be transmogrifying these things just to look like they fit in, but it's using a searchlight. So searchlights are typically only seen by, humankind, you would think, but we've seen them on black triangles, haven't we? We've seen them on cylinder vehicles as well. We've seen them on flying saucers even. So we've seen these searchlights in multitudes of vehicles, both human and extraterrestrial. So she states that this black helicopter seemed to go back and forth a couple of times, and that's when I noticed the searchlights were trained on the ground. It also landed in the field for about 10 minutes, so that's really interesting because typically you don't hear about these things landing. They're just hovering and they're looking for something with the searchlight, and that's usually all anybody can ever see. But she says she actually saw this thing land for 10 minutes. She says, I took the earbuds out and I listened for a minute, but I didn't hear or see anything that made me think I should leave the area, so I just continued to jog. The helicopter eventually took back off and flew away, seemingly towards the city and airport. So I'm assuming she means New York City. So either they found what they were looking for or they didn't. I'll tell you what, these, military are not going to train in an area that people are going to be able to, see their training missions. They're going to train in an area that's remote and away from, the civilization, pretty much. So in the black helicopter, Army has camouflage green helicopters. That's what it's known as. So you're not going to see them flying black helicopters. They're going to be marked. Maybe if they went off into battle or something like that, they might unmark them or something, but they're going to be marked here in the U.S. So anyway, going forward here, she states, soon after I saw the helicopter, she states, I heard a low screeching sound coming from the field across Eddy Road. It was about a football field's length from me to where the sound seemed to be coming from. I quickly turned off the podcast and opened my voice memo app on my iPhone to record it. For some reason, it only recorded 24 seconds. It was just 8 p.m. at this point, so I ran back to my car, an additional half to about a full football field's length from where the sound was coming from, because my girls were getting out of practice. I got into my car to listen and make sure I'd captured something of sound on the recording. And I had. Interesting. At this point, my daughter got into the car, and when she opened the door, I could still hear it screeching, even though we were surrounded by a whole bunch of teenage girls and their parents picking them up. So she took this recording. She knew she had captured something. She brought it to a number of people, both wildlife experts and paranormal cryptid investigators, but so far, there isn't anyone who can identify it. What I can say, and the reason I keep talking about the distance, is that it had to be very big. I hope you can hear this recording. Some people have not been able to open it on their computers. So she states that she is in upstate New York, Walworth in Wayne County, 10 miles east of Rochester. The author of this article states he agrees it sounds bird-like. One other person suggested it sounded like a thunderbird. They do have many large birds of prey in that area, but none that make that particular cry and that particular sound. The witness stated that the distance from the animal decrypted was approximately 100 yards, or a football field length. The recording, they state, was a little bit difficult to listen and hear, and they tried to enhance it for this post. But from what we know, so what are the facts? The facts are black helicopter. You only see those when they're trying to complete some sort of secret mission. They want secrecy. The only reason you paint something 100% black is because you want secrecy. People tint their windows. Either A, they need it for vision because they have a medical problem, or they want it for secrecy. And I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying they want their mission to be secret. It's okay. I know there's a lot of laws against people tinting their windows too. I don't care if you tint your windows, but why are you doing it? Probably because you don't want people to see into you, right? So this thing lands for 10 minutes. For whatever they were looking for, they couldn't find it because apparently it was still there, or its partner was screaming out for it, trying to find where it was and what had happened to it. So here we have a very, very peculiar story, but it seems to be pretty credible. And it seems that have happened early at night, early enough to where they were able to hear and see things, right? Not pitch black. 8 o'clock, as long as it wasn't in the afternoon. Did she say what day it was? She doesn't say the actual month. So I mean, if you're jogging outside, typically it's gonna be spring, winter. I mean, not winter, spring, summer, or early fall. You're not gonna usually jog too deep into fall because it just gets too dark. So anywho, that's the story. And then we have the screaming birds. So here's my summation of this story. My theory, okay? You can take it for what it's worth. Many of these stories typically revolve around a secret government agency, CIA, DIA, whatever you want to call it. Not going to be FBI, and these helicopters are holding black military, dark military, secret military guys, the black camo, and they're there for a mission. They do not confine themselves within the Constitution. They work outside the Constitution. They don't report to any president or any other senior ranking government official. They don't report to Congress. They do their own thing, and that's it. Just like Jason Wygant said when they picked him up in a black helicopter after he had seen a UFO and he had telepathically communicated with those aliens. They picked him up and said, "Hey, we're going to throw you out in the jungle and we're going to kill you, and nobody's going to be able to find you." And that was down in Peru. So I wonder what would happen if somebody saw these guys and they were actually picking up a pterodactyl creature. Would they try to pick up the human as well and threaten them, or just whack them? You never know with these guys. They don't follow the law. They're straight up like, they could be. They're basically mercenaries for hire for these black agencies. So here you go. That's the story. I think that they probably picked up something, but they couldn't find maybe the second entity, and that entity's screaming out there, or they got sent in and they didn't find it at all. What happened in a previous story, and I had done a podcast about this, was another gentleman stated he was on a secret op team that would go in and find these creatures in West Virginia. Can't remember if it was Bigfoot or whatever. I think it was like 6 Bigfoot or something like that. They were trying to track down, and they were sent to West Virginia, and that was their mission, was to go pick them up. They went in a black helicopter, picked up these Bigfoot, and brought them back because they were like terrorizing the town, and they were like killing a bunch of like wildlife and things like that. Valuable livestock. So that's my theory on this one. Again, take it for what it's worth. You can read into it, read between the lines, and we'll leave it at that. So, anyway, keep it short and sweet. I hope you guys are having a fantastic, fantastic day. Taking care of yourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally. Following through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. Please like, follow, share, subscribe. It really helps out a lot. We've been having a lot of people listening to the podcast lately, so it's been really fun to interact with people. Go ahead and leave a comment. Comment in the comment section. I love to talk to you guys. And now I can actually do that. Spotify's allowed us to actually communicate with you guys. So that's been a bunch of fun. I've been going back into some of the comments that we've had in the past. Been able to respond to them. Some of the folks like Sam and Cheska, and some other people that really do a lot of comments on the show. So anyway, have a great day. Peace, love, and light. Lockdown Universe out. Peace.